A lot of religious leaders have been labeled doomsday preachers because they are telling the congregation that the world is coming to an end. And not with water like in Noah's time, but more so with fire. To most of us, this is a frightening concept to conceive, especially if you have children or if you still have things that you want to accomplish in your life before the end of the world. Strangely, these doomsday preachers are not entirely wrong. They're just not clear, for they lack the basic understanding of the scriptures, primarily because most of them do not know the language that it was revealed in. So instead of admitting this, they resort to preaching misinformation that perplexes the minds of their congregations. The doomsday concept actually relates to when the world's age has reached 6,000 years, from the recreation story after the first flood, where God told Adam and Eve to replenish the earth in Genesis 1:28. And then again in Genesis 9:1, where God told Noah the same thing after the second flood. We are now living in that time again, but it's not the end of the world in the general sense, but more so the end of a 6,000 year moon cycle and the beginning of a new 6,000 year sun cycle. And since the sun is a form of fire that is closer to the planet at this time, this is where the concept of God is coming with fire originated from. All ancient astronomers in past cultures have recorded this day and time, which is presently known as the equinox. And of course, since religious mythology was plagiarized from Egyptian and Sumerian realities, it is quite simple to explain it if you're acquainted with ancient cultures. We are all very familiar with the sun, which is 93 million miles away, and still at such a tremendous distance, its rays continue to shape the lives of all living on planet Earth. By observing the cosmic, rhythmic, predictable cycle of the sun, we now know that it takes the Earth 1 year to revolve around it, and that 1 year is divided into 12 months. The sun and the other planets that makes up your universes orbits around a galactic center called a central vortex, which is a supermassive black hole. And just as the 1 year that the Earth takes to revolve around the sun is divided into 12 months, so is the time that it takes the universe to orbit around the galactic center, which is divided into 12 periods. Each period consists of 2,075 years, totaling 24,900 years, which is approximately 25,000 years for the completion of the equinox. This is the time that it takes the universe to make one complete rotation around the galaxy. For knowledge's sake, it is important for you to know that there is an earthly equinox and there is a universal equinox. The word equinox simply means when the length of day and night are equal. In the universal equinox, there are 4 cycles, also called worlds. 2 moon cycles, which is symbolic of the night, and 2 sun cycles, which is symbolic of the day. Each cycle lasts for 6,000 years, making up the 24,000 year equinox. Of course, this time varies from 24,000 to 25,000 years, which ties into the circumference of the planet Earth. The first cycle in this equinox was a moon cycle, which changed to a sun cycle, that changed to a moon cycle, and now back to the sun cycle, where we currently are. These cycles not only involve a change in evolution, which has actually come to an end and is now thrown in reverse, but it also affects mankind, who is regressing back to the original primitive state they were evolving from, and thus it has turned into a revolutionary cycle. The unique thing about this day and time is that with precise astronomical observation of this phenomenon, we find that the equinox and the precession are taking place concurrently, and thus we are at the dawning of a new era. The precession is the wobbling of the Earth due to its 23.5 degree axis tilt, which makes a complete revolution every 25,920 to 26,000 years. It unfolds at a rate of 1 degree every 72 years. This slow wobble of the Earth's axis has caused the solstice and equinox points to shift 30 degrees westward relative to the 12 constellation, giving you an astronomical age that lasts for 2,160 years. Each age corresponds to the average time it takes for the vernal equinox to move from one constellation of the zodiac into the next in a reverse order. Of course, each period or era has a name according to the monthly signs. For example, the universe is now passing out of the era of water, known as the Piscean era, which is the era governed by all that is physical. And it is now entering into the Aquarian age, which is the era of air, ether, mind, and power. This new age is a spiritual era that the world is now ready to accept. That is why so many people want to be spiritual all of a sudden. Some souls are realizing that there are extra senses, and that there is an astral body called the aura, and that communication can be made with beings outside of this planet. What many don't know is that the 12 eras from the Piscean era moving counterclockwise has 8 doors, or gateways, that opens up at specific times. What I'm referring to here are wormholes. And yes, they are real. You see, gravity is not a force that pulls matter like magnetism. It's actually warping space-time. For example, the moon thinks it's following a straight line through space, but in actuality, it's following a curve or warp path created by the Earth's gravity. With that being said, it is possible to tangle up space-time so tightly that 2 points can share the same physical location, although separated by enormous distance. If you knew just how to keep the 2 points stable. For the skeptics, I can assure you that modern physicists would agree. Furthermore, when the 6th gateway opened in the year 1966 AD of the Gregorian calendar, disagreeable beings descended into the earth in many forms, including the humans from what is called the Ashtar Command, who now seek to control the planet under the name Children of the Light, or simply the Illuminati. They are the ancestors of those who presently rule this planet. Then, in 1970 AD, which was the end of the third 6,000-year moon cycle, this planet positioned itself in the location of the revolution of Earth, and the 7th gateway opened, and agreeable beings called Pa Neteru descended into the earth in order to guide their descendants, the people of the sun, or simply star people, back to their rightful position in nature. Since the rise and fall of power is synchronized with this time, every 25,000 years, one of the ancient ones is reborn into this earthly plane as a beacon in the form of an incarnation named Yan-Nun, who is known in the Bible as Melchizedek, and in the Quran as Al-Qidra, and in Egyptian records as Tahuti, and many other names in different cultures. Yan-Nun is an etheric being who has over 76 trillion years of outformation, who inhabits the physical body of Dr. Malachi Z. York in order to rectify and re-enlighten you with simple truth, known as right knowledge. Now, please do not be alarmed, for I know the spell of racial double standards exists within the minds of so many people infected with racism. So before you shun the idea of an African spiritual master who is an incarnation, let me remind you that many of you have already accepted incarnations in other people's culture with no opposition whatsoever. For instance, in the Buddhist faith, they have what is called a Dalai Lama, named Lamo Thornap, in the Tibetan culture and religion. He is accepted and revered as a manifestation of the previous Dalai Lama. He is so well valued and appreciated that Oprah Winfrey and Maria Shriver would interview him. Even popular public platforms such as BBC, ABC, and Times welcomes him, showing admiration towards him and his culture. In the Hindi faith, they have a man named Sai Baba, who is a Hindu spiritual master and avatar, who is regarded as a reincarnation as well. He too is also acknowledged by Hindus, and people abroad also respect him and his culture. Many people today in the Christian faith believe that a man named Jesus was born some 2,000 years ago to a woman who had no sexual contact with a man. And this man is believed to be the Son of God to some, and to others, God himself. It is believed amongst Christians that he died and he's coming back. That sounds like reincarnation to me. And most of the world accepts and venerates him to this very day with no confirmation of his actual existence whatsoever, just pure faith and belief. But that's okay. Are we admitting that all others who came from us, the original people of planet Earth, can have an incarnated spiritual master and guide, yet we cannot? Have we become so spiritually dead and blind that we cannot see what's right before our eyes? If you look around and be honest, Black people are in a very bad state. Over 75% of them are still religious, believing in other people's gods that looks nothing like themselves. We are currently still under the hypocritical rulership of those who are descendants of those who kidnapped and enslaved our ancestors. And many of us are still puzzled as to why they lie about history and why we continue to be treated unfairly and consistently railroaded in their corrupt courtrooms. Take the veils off that has been obstructing your vision. For Yan-Nun is here as the reformer to make all that is misunderstood overstood by renewing our history. This is why myself and many other students of this great teacher can give you information, some of which you have never heard before now. which will slowly become information that many people are now using, accepting, and having no clue from which it came. So, be honored, having the chance to be here in such a great day and time. Many in the past have awaited this very day, when Yanun, the son of justice, mistranslated as righteousness in Malachi 4:2, makes himself known as the being that exists with us right now, who is from our past, that is really our future. And what that means is, he is standing here with us right now as a being from out of the past of our time amongst the Neteru, who are so far more advanced than we are now that he is a part of our future sent back here to tell us what to expect. That is why he is able to prophesize, although he has never claimed to be a prophet, and answer the unanswered questions about life and death, as well as the birth of the universes. Ever since he made himself known, he has been a target with much opposition for the reason that disagreeing with popular held beliefs, doing your own reasoning instead of accepting without question what you've been told to accept, has always been the road of unpopularity and danger in all closed-minded societies. For man loves to tell others what to think and accept. And when one like himself comes to free the people from their mental captivity, you'll find that the opposing system would treat people like him far worse than common breakers of the law. I guess being great is to be misunderstood. Many students who were thought to be loyal has abandoned him in what would appear to be his most vulnerable moments. Some right now are teaching a doctrine and will not even give any credence to the one who taught them merely because of appearances. Simultaneously, the beast man assembled a plot to incarcerate him, but not before they would character assassinate him with the help of black devils who tirelessly try to compel the masses to acquiesce to his public execution. This was all staged strategically by way of the one-sided media in order to get the masses to reject him and inevitably the teaching. This is the ultimate deception. But all of those who are intelligent by nature and thus are able to find the truth in the pile of lies, truth has come. He or she who has an ear, let them listen to the words of wisdom. Now is the time for all good people to stand up. I'm KHAFRE, and this is Back to the Basic. Like, share, and subscribe.